Hey guys, today I've got some tips on how to paint white cars. You're obviously going to want to degrease with a waterborne degreaser and a solvent-borne degreaser. And before you spray your sealer, like I'm going to do now, just check the fan pattern and make sure I tack off the whole panel to help eliminate any possible dust that could be sitting on it. With my sealer, especially when I'm painting a bumper that is black, it's a little hard to cover a dark surface with a light color. When I mix up my sealer, I go about 2.5% black sealer mixed in with my white sealer. It kind of gives it a very, very light gray appearance. Another trick that I use is I under-reduce my sealer about 5%, just so that it's a little thicker, so it covers better, but it's not so thick that it's not going to come out of your gun. It still sprays nicely. Between those two tips for spraying white sealer is going to give you a lot better results trying to get your coverage when you end up spraying base coat next. I'm using my old Tekna red gun. Works great for solvent-borne products, so sealer, single stage, or clear. I use a 1.3 tip with the TE20 air cap. There are some guys that use a 1.4 fluid tip. I've used it before as well. It works just as good. I just find with the 1.3 I get a little bit more control. Right here I'm just going over any spots that just look a little grayer than I would like, so I'm just making sure that it's white because it'll help with my base coat to help get the coverage I need. Just checking the fan pattern so that's nice and even. If not, I'll have to go and clean up my gun, because if you don't clean your gun properly, it can affect how your fan pattern looks. Again, tack the panel off and spray beyond the panel as you're going. So you start off the panel, you go all the way across, keep spraying until you're off the panel, and rinse and repeat. Lots of times when you're tacking off your panels, you can feel a little dirt or dust nib. If you just wipe it a couple of times, depending if it's small or not, it can come off quite easily. If not, you can take anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 grit sandpaper and just give it a light sand, but you got to make sure that you put color on top of that. And definitely don't forget to get all your edges. It's hugely important because those things can be easily missed. Again, I'm under reducing my white base coat 5%. This is GM's 8624. It is definitely the most common white I ever spray. Try and keep your gun 6 to 8 inches away and spray as evenly and consistently as you can. My gun is spraying at 18 psi using the Tekna Pro Light with a 1.3 tip and the TE20 air cap. Tacking off, getting ready for the second coat. I try and use as many curves and body lines as I can to help blend out the color. I typically, if I can, use the spray pattern of the gun to do my blend for me, so I don't have to worry about blending it out myself, because the fan pattern itself will be the perfect blend. I'm using OMNI PLUS for my base coat. It's a pretty good solvent-borne paint system made by PPG. I highly recommend it if you're looking for an affordable system in your shop, or if you're looking for a paint that has pretty good color matching and you're trying to do your own project at home. Each coat is a medium wet coat. Don't want to put it on dry because you will definitely notice it when you are tacking it off, or when you're clear coating it, it won't lay down as smooth. I break up the bumpers into 3 sections. One side I'll spray, then I'll spray the middle, and I'll finish off on the last side, kind of using the curve of the bumper to help blend the color out, so I'm not missing anything. And right here I'm taking my sun gun, just making sure I have all the coverage I need and make sure that my color looks good. If I'm really curious to know what my color looks like and I'm not too sure about it, I'll use my quick check spray, and it kind of gives it a temporary shiny surface, like mimicking clear coat, and then I hit it with the sun gun to really see what it's going to look like. It definitely helps when you're looking to see what your blend looks like on a metallic or even a pearl color. Your quick check spray will evaporate really slowly, but you just got to give it time to let it do its thing before you put anything on top of it. Got my clear in my Tekna red gun. One last tack. I know that I have coverage. I'm using OMNI MC262. It's fantastic clear. It's very affordable. Shines great. Goes on easy. You can lay it down really smooth, and it polishes very, very easy. I typically always start from the bottom. Some guys will start from the top. You just kind of do whatever you're comfortable with. I've upped my pressure from 18 on the base coat to 22 psi for my clear coat. I find that it helps me get a nice smooth surface when I spray. When I'm clear coating bumpers, I typically do not hit the edges the first round, because on your edges you have to snap the bumper onto the car, and I don't want to put too much paint material, because I find that if you have too much paint material, it might not snap in as tightly as it could. And here I'm going to check how much clear coat I have left in my cup. So let's say I mix 400 milliliters and I have 200 milliliters. I typically go however much I used plus 10%, and I know I'll have the exact amount of clear I need for my second coat, because the second one I always put on a little bit heavier. I'm just trying to look into the light through the panel to make sure that I have everything covered and everything looks shiny and smooth, and if I have to blow in a little more clear here and there to make it look absolutely perfect, I do that. I will finally hit my edges here. And another reason for not doing that, you'll save material, and all your edges, they don't see the direct sunlight like the face of the bumper. So you do end up saving a little bit of material, and your bumper will snap on a little bit better. Here's the last coat of clear, putting on a little bit heavier than the first one, making sure that it lays down nice and smooth.
Try to avoid getting any runs in your clear, but you can at least eliminate any runs or hangers that you have. If it's dry, there's not a very good chance that you'll be able to make that look as good as if it wasn't dry. Here's a quick look at how the bumper turned out. Bumper turned out pretty good, I would think. Better than the factory peel that was on it. Definitely laid down really nice. Here's what the back hatch looks like. Color turned out nice, clear laid down really smooth. And that is how you paint a white car. I hope a couple of those tips help. Like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to hearing your questions.